I woke up this morning to a distressed knock on my door. Thought, who could that be? It's 8 a.m. here. I answered the door. 2 assassins trying to assassinate my channel. They had Canon logos on their shirts. They smelt like butter. Today we are inspecting the R5 and the R6 for dents. Canon Cripple Hammer dents. Are there any? Or are they perfect? And will I disappear into thin air? Let's find out.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
Oh, little Fuji. I'm so proud that you're gonna keep me this entire episode, and when I want to focus on rocket blower technology, you will. And you won't pulse, you won't search for that face over there, ever. Thank you. For those who are curious, we're on 0 quick sensitivity and -2 speed for the smoothness, and it won't lose me once, even when I turn to the side. I'm fully confident in it. So I gotta tell you, the R5 and R6 excite my soul electrically. They're so exciting looking, both better than the other. I don't even know where to start. They haven't let anybody actually use it yet. Imagine my disappointment when I go to see my man Gordon Lang and I'm waiting for his vlog test and like, they didn't let me touch it. I could only hold it with a glove. What the hell, Canon? Let your boy run in the woods, free, like a wood baby. Stop competing with my owl. I wasn't even close. So I watched their painful press conference. Just the Canon light seekers. What the hell are those people? Just waiting to ascend to the next heavenly dimension. Just gushing, vomiting rainbows. Oh, these cameras. I couldn't believe it. How fast they autofocus. God, I hate the overzealous people who are just not going to tell you anything bad. Is there anything wrong with the camera? No, there's not. It's the best thing ever. It had my baby. So that was painful, and then to have to sit through a Peter McKinnon card show in 120p, 4K, the whole thing. Oh, it hurts my soul. Or Fuji tracking. Does Fuji track disappointment? You better. Then I read all the DP review articles, looking through the specs. I watched all the videos that were available from DP Review and Gordon Lang, and we've made a list here of potential Canon Cripple Hammerings. And then by the end of this video, we'll decide together if it's worth buying, which one, the R6 or the R5. Is it really worth that? It's extra. It's quite a bit extra. In Canada, we're talking $4,000 for the R6. $61 million for the R5. That's a $21 million increase. It's quite the substantial event in your life. Now, while the Canon Cripple Hammer does appear to have lost some of its potency, I wouldn't step too near it. It probably still packs a punch. Oh, hey, little guy. You weren't allowed to hit those things very hard, were you? Made a new metal. They're made of canonundium, so you tried. You tried your best. Whatever. You can leave. No need to hit me. It's not like you could do any damage. Ow. Oh, God. Don't buy the Sony A7S III. It will be technically inferior to your wants. Canon loves you. So let's get into some of these scratches the Canon Cripple Hammer made. So the first one in the R6, no all-eye. So they're giving us the IPB, which is the much worse codec. Will it matter though? I'm thinking it's still gonna look pretty damn sharp. You notice it in the RP versus the R? Definitely. Is it gonna be that drastic? A lot of people couldn't tell, but I could totally see it. It's just more sharpness, more detail in the R. And then you go in that little baby codec. It's not right. So that kind of sucks. I don't care that it didn't have 8K, so it hurts, but we've yet to see what the quality is actually like. It might be just fine, even in the IPB. Right now in the Fuji, we're filming at 200 megabits per second instead of the 400. It's just too big, the file sizes. Like, you don't need this kind of stuff for YouTube. I just want nice looking stuff that works. Now, one strange thing, the R5 is claiming to only have a 1-stop increase in dynamic range over the EOS R. I don't know if that doesn't sound very good, does it? The EOS R was very limited. The X-T4 spanked it hard. It's bad dynamic range. So this will be one stop, but that doesn't sound like much. That's a Tony 1.4 to a 2.1 if it was a foot. Canon's known for crushing those highlights, and they've always been kind of the bottom feeder of the dynamic range land. So even APS-C cameras usually beat it. Is one stop a lot in dynamic range? Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just overlooking it. I'm thinking in terms of like ISO or aperture, and dynamic range is completely different. 12 to 13 is mind-blowing. I don't know, but I thought that was curious. One stop, stop your mom. Now one reason to get the R5 over the R6 is that screen. R6 has the 3-inch 1.6 dot, R5 3.2 inch and 2.1 dots. It's not a Fuji X-T200 screen. That thing is the best screen ever at 2.7 million dots. It's so clear. It's the resolution. It's the difference between watching 4K and 1080p almost. It's like, wow. But it really does make a difference. This is a 1.6K dot screen. It's okay, but like from this distance, I can't tell if I'm in focus or not. You move up to a 2.7, yes. So I'm imagining that 2.1 is close. It's a reason. If you want to judge your focus and exposure accurately, that better screen's gonna do it for you. Now here's where Panasonic should be in a corner somewhere crying, calling their dead grandmother for advice on what to do next from the spirit world. The R5 weighs 738 grams, just slightly more than the GH5, like 15 grams or something. You now have full frame with Panasonic level IBIS, it looks like. We haven't seen it, but on paper it's like 8 stops, and when Canon does something, they do it right. So this IBIS plus lens plus digital, I'm afraid to even look at it. The GH5 with its terrible autofocus, and you're just matching the 10-bit, like, you're dead, Panasonic. The S1, I'm gonna throw that in a river and hope a dead body latches onto it, and I don't know who I'll root for to survive that, the dead body or the camera. I'll probably choose the dead body. I'll make a flag for him. Then the R6 coming in at 680 grams, so you're saving quite a bit from the R5, and now you're lighter than a GH5? You're on par with a G9. G9's about 650. Fuji's 607. We're in the ballpark for full frame with better IBIS and so much superior. Have you seen that autofocused eye tracking box? The lightning speed that it moves at. It's Sony sticky now. We're at Sony sticky level, I'm afraid, for the future. Now here's a strange, confusing, crippling, or I'm just misunderstanding it, most likely the latter. R6 does 10-bit 422 internal with C-Log or HDR. And first, let's just appreciate the glory that that's going to be. The HDR is actually pretty good with Canon on their M6 Mark II, and even the Canon RP, like it's usable, somewhat. In 10-bit now, 422 with HDR, that might be the most glorious, it might be fake looking, Barbie skin-wise, but it could be the best thing ever. But the weird thing is, it seems like you can only do 10-bit 422 with log or HDR and not the other profiles. I could totally be wrong on that. But it just, like, can I not do that in standard and just make a vlog? I have to use log and grade it. We all know I don't know what I'm doing. Yes, I do. Wow. My skills have improved so much. And the Fuji autofocus system never lets me down. Couple that with a new color science. Can't go wrong. Now here's a minor annoyance. The Canon Cripple Hammer swung at the R6. It moved, but there's a little nick. A 1.07 times crop. That's just enough to annoy you, because you don't have any wide lenses that weigh a normal amount for a lens. You have the 15 to 35 that weighs way too much. We're still waiting for a vlogging lens. That's actually the major downside of this system if I actually wanted to vlog with it outside. Let's be real with ourselves. No, I can't say that. That's a future video. Don't spoil it. But that friendly little crop is gonna turn your 24mm lens into an unusable 25.6. That's basically just throw it out at that point. Now here's an actual crippling in the R5. I don't get this one. You can't shoot RAW in 4K, only 8K. We'll give you 8K RAW, but not 4K or 1080p. No, we can't do that. It's too easy for us to do. We don't want to show off. Why the hell is that removed? Like, that's Canon Cripple Hammer of the past, when just you don't understand it. Like, why do they remove 24p in the past? It's like, isn't that easier to make? What the? So you can't shoot RAW 4K. That hurts. It hurts a lot of people. Nobody's going to use the 8K. Let's be real. What is that even going to look like? Also, if you want to record 8K or 4K 120p, you can't use the SD cards. You have to use those CF Express cards. I tried to buy one once. Cost 17 hamburgers. I'm looking at CF Express cards. You want a 512 gig? It's $800. What the hell kind of lie is that? They don't have many. There's a couple cheap ones, but you don't want to go cheap on something like that. 263 for a SanDisk, 128 gigs. That'll give you 14 seconds of footage in 8K. I don't know about this. It's a factor though. You wouldn't think of it, but that's a huge addition to your already inflated budget. Now, one reason to get the R6 over the R5, another interesting cripple, the R5 doesn't do 1080p 120p. It does 4K 120p, but we couldn't give you the lesser version. We only make gold here. I'm not sure why they're leaving that out, or if they're going to add it in a firmware update, I don't know, but right now it's not in there, and that's weird to me. Because the 4K 120p, you need the CF Express card, and how many big files are those going to big up to be? It's English, trust me. Another thing that's a little disappointing is there's no 240 frames per second or 480 in a lower resolution. It sounds like this camera with the new Digic X processor is designed for speed. Like, it looks like that Sony autofocus. It's like, we're up there now, and we're not doing it. We're not pushing the envelope. We're just giving like, oh, they could probably do it for like 4 seconds. That's all we need. Just a couple seconds, 480p, so I can run across the street, tell the world. I feel like this camera's capable of doing it, and they maybe just didn't think of it. It's like, oh, you wanted that? It's like, yeah, Fuji gives us 240p with autofocus. It's fantastic. But I tell you, after struggling so hard with this Fuji autofocus, outside at least, in here, hopefully we fixed it. Dual Pixel Mark II is coming to us. Dual Pixel, the second version? Even there's probably nothing different with it, but it seems to be faster. It was already smooth. Some people still preferred it to the Sony. Now it's going to be better than the Sony and smoother and more reliable, and it gets your head when you turn around. What does Fuji do to it? But I found the deal breaker, my friend. This feature will keep my channel alive for the next 17 weeks. You can't customize the Q menu. You were so close, Canon. I like to put random abstract things in there, like how to change the photo dynamic range in video mode. I really appreciate that. In the XT4, you got the quick menu, you can customize 16 different things. It's like, thank you so much. So you can't do that, Canon. So I'm not buying you. I'm gonna buy it. I probably lean towards the R6 just because the R5 has things that I don't need. Its main features are 8K, 4K 120p. Like, I don't need that stuff. It's just, is it better? Dynamic range is probably worse. If anything, the R6 should be better. It has bigger pixels, so it should be better. It might be the steal of the century. $2,500, $1,000. So hopefully Camera Canada can get me a review unit, both. Ideally, the R5 and R6 with some lenses. The RF ones, I want that 85mm Tony too. I'd put that thing far back, you wouldn't even believe it. Tracking me like a wolf. And the 24mm EF lens adapted. Will it stabilize good or autofocus well? I don't know. These are the things we have to test. On paper though, these look fantastic and I want them both. I might have to sell some stuff to fund the operation. Maybe give a kidney or two. I have 3. It's a defect. I'm personally gonna wait until the A7S III finally comes out, because that system actually excites me a little more, just because they have better lenses that suit me better. They have the 1.8 primes, where Canon just focused on all this big giant glass. I lean to Sony maybe being able to edge them out somehow. I don't know what they're gonna put in there, but that's gonna be tough to top. And I think They just killed Panasonic, basically. I don't think there's anything Panasonic could ever do in the future now. Like a GH6, if they don't come with some serious phase detect, that's gonna hurt. Time of flight, birds better be flying at me. That ain't right. Panasonic pretty much dead with this release. Sony might be able to stay afloat, and they have potential for the future, but these Canon releases scare me. They brought the Rohirrim, the horses with swords. So I don't think anything can beat this right now on paper. We have to see if there's any major glitch with the IBIS or something. Doesn't feel like it. So these are the things to beat. Fuji is a bottom feeder guppy compared to it. Panasonic, you might as well throw grenades at it and hope you hit it. I'm being harsh on the gifts a little bit. I'm so sorry. Alright, we're done. What do you think of the R5 and R6? Best cameras ever? Probably. Thank you for buying a Camera Conspiracies t-shirt as your way of voting for or against the Canon. Just buy a shirt, either. I'm gonna leave. Subscribe for more videos and I'll see you in the next